a couple lessons I've learned just through my growth. And I was actually talking to one of my Marines about it. Learning to accept risk and live with risk. And I think a lot of times people just feel so stuck in place. And I see it now because I think COVID has just caused so much reflection in a lot of people's lives. I get texts from people all the time about, man, I hate my job. It's soul sucking. It's affecting my health, you know? And at a certain point, we feel like there's this sense that like life is just happening to us and we have no control over it, you know? And I tell people, man, like you have control at every moment. It's like, society sometimes can make us forget, but you do. And it's like, oh man, well, I don't know what to do. I was like, listen, man, it comes with the risk. That's the thing. People see people, they see you doing amazing things now, but they don't see you, dry heaving in the bathroom, dealing with the nerves that are coming, or when, you're watching that WeWork IPO crash and burn and they owe you all those receivables. It's like all that kind of stuff you deal with, but it just comes with the territory. And I've just learned that, man, just the ability to just take risk and accept it and live with it, win or lose, but at least, showing up to fight. That's the best way I can put it. Another thing, your peer group is so important. This is a peer group right here. People looking out for each other, holding each other accountable, but having a strong peer group of people that you can lean on and push you. And I know for me, I mentioned that one of the groups I joined, I got a business coach about in 2019, right after that WeWork contract was ending. I decided to invest in a business coach. I didn't have money for a business coach. Never thought in my life I could afford a business coach, but I just felt like this was something I had to do, go all in. And I did it, and now I do stuff. I have an admin, I have all this stuff that I never thought that I feasibly would do because I don't have a business background. My background is in history and I got my master's in American studies from Rutgers. So I spent 2 years really fighting against serious imposter syndrome of, am I good enough? I'm not smart enough. Oh my God, all these people are so much better than me. And then when I got my business coach and joined my cohort with the Lions Pride, I went out to our first meetup and I was like, I don't belong here. Like I came back to Newark depressed because it felt like I was building, you're around all these business owners and they got successful businesses and they're talking about $1 million in revenue and $100,000 in revenue. And I'm coming back to Newark in my 1-bedroom apartment with no gym, with a gym, and like Newark is just grimy. It's hard. It's not like Annapolis. Annapolis is like nice. You feel special when you're there. Newark is just the grind. But you know what, man? You just stick with it. Stick with that accountability. And my peer group leveled me up. Just being half the time, just being in the room in places like this, just being in the room will make you better, and you start to learn from people and you start to grow. And that started to happen. I'm learning from my peers in the Lions Pride, and I'm just getting sharper. I'm becoming a sharper entrepreneur. And over time, and I think this is what they tell you, Jason probably knows about the 3-year mark, 2 or 3 year mark, it's like it just starts compounding, right?
And you start gelling.
Yeah, it just starts gelling. That's like boxing. You're hitting the bag, your hook sucks, you can't figure it out. Then all of a sudden, your hook gets tighter. And you're like, okay, man, it's a little bit better. It's a little bit better. And now you really got it. And it kind of happens with entrepreneurship too. You spend so much time feeling like, man, I'm just making it up, have no idea what I'm doing. But then you're like, man, I've been making it up for a long time. This is actually working, right? So
that's called experience.
Let's keep making it up this way. And then all of that experience, all that grind and all the hustle and all the stuff that you've been doing, it just starts to compound. You just get sharper. And then once you start letting go of that in the back of your head, get out of the way. That's my one regret, man. I wish today that all that imposter syndrome, that feeling like I don't belong and all that kind of stuff, it was a parking brake. And it was really holding me back. And learning how to COVID taught me to overcome that, because to be able to lead my gym and lead my program, because at the end of the day, I mentioned Echo and Green. I mentioned all these, there's a lot of failures, the dry heaving and all that kind of stuff. But my kids at Ironbound, they have no idea. You still look like a superhero to them because they've never seen people do what you do, And at this point, Newark is like, they're like watching Mike, right? They're like, he's always doing something, I'm in the gym, holding mitts. I'm like, hey, I gotta go. And next, they're like, he's on TV. It's like, what is he doing? But it's all to raise support and awareness. But even in my lowest days, man, your kids, they look up to you. And a lot of you, I'm sure, are parents. And so, in COVID and all this craziness going on, I'm sure they were looking to you for kind of strength. But going back to our time of just being leaders, sometimes you just got to step up, and you just keep pushing, even when you don't feel like pushing.